Alexa, volume 0.
They can hear it.
Oh no.
Oh, thank you, everyone. I guess I'll have to wait for my cake till we are done. So welcome, everybody, to Capclave 2020, the place where reading is not extinct. I could go on for an hour. Anybody who knows me or has seen me speak knows that I can talk. And I can talk as long as you need me to, or even a little longer than I probably should. Capclave, of course, has been a challenge, along with many conventions this year as we've switched to virtual. But on the good side, we've had a wonderful experience so far. Our team has done a great job getting everything going and in place. So special big thanks to all of our team who's here working behind the scenes to bring our latest version of Capclave. I'm going to take a moment here to call out a couple of people who've really done spectacular work. Our tech goddess, and that's how she's listed on our website, Kathy Overton, has done amazing work in order to set up this live stream for the award ceremony. So thank you very much for all the hard work. And also, Capclave 2020 could not have happened without all the hard work that Roger Burns put in this year. He has been amazing, and he has saved me many headaches and a lot of pain. So Roger, thank you very much. Now, typically here, I'd be calling up the guests of honor to get their gifts. Unfortunately, our guests of honor aren't here in my living room. But I do have something. This is the gift that we have for all of our returning guests, as well as for Troy. We will ship these out after the convention this weekend once I have all the proper addresses. This is an original Vincent Villafranca bronze dodo. So he was very kind and he allowed us to do a dodo for them. So I greatly appreciate that. Now, one of the great things about Capclave is that we have a great relationship with our sister club, the Baltimore Science Fiction Society. They have been considered a child of WSFA because members from WSFA traveling overnight decided they could have their own club, and they have one that has outgrown their parents. They have an amazing number of activities they do in Baltimore. They support writers and fans all around the area, and we truly appreciate the opportunity to work with them to publicize one of their awards. And I'm going to turn this over to Maria Thompson, who is a very marvelous person and BSFA's board member, treasurer. She keeps her finances in order. But it's one of those things where the opportunity to celebrate amateur writers is a great thing. And the other part of it is we have greatly benefited from past winners of their award as their careers have developed and they have become regular participants at Capclave. So on to you, Maria. Thank you very much for all you do in our community.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here as treasurer of the Baltimore Science Fiction Society. The amateur writing contest hosted by BSFA. It's wrong folks. This too many acronyms. BSFA, the Baltimore Science Fiction Society, is to promote the creation of quality genre literature in the state of Maryland, and any short story that falls into the speculative fiction genre, science fiction and fantasy in all their forms, is welcome. Urban fantasy, hard science fiction, dark fantasy, it all counts as long as the work has a speculative element. We have a separate contest for young writers. This contest is for residents of Maryland or attendees at one of our 2 or 4 year colleges who's over the age of 18 and cannot either be a member of the Science Fiction Writers of America or meet the criteria for active WSFA membership. The stories submitted are a minimum of 1,000 words with a limit of 5,500 words. And the submissions generally start on April 1st of each year, so we encourage everyone to keep an eye out for that date and to keep writing. And this year, it is my indeed privilege to announce our winners. And first, for myself and for the board, we want to thank the judges, Dale Arnold, Eric Guy, Christopher Rose, David Vaughn, and Sherry Woosley. And our final round judges, J.D. Gordon and A.T. Greenblatt. And to all who entered, we thank you very much for your submissions. I did not get a chance to read all of them, but I understand that there are many, many wonderful stories. And as I said before, we encourage you to keep writing and submitting. So let me begin with our 3rd place winner, Miguel Mitchell. His story, A Tale from the Harmonium, a genre-bending story featuring a character who, in the words of the story, conducts unauthorized mystical arts within the ground of the palace in order to help a futuristic kingdom preserve justice. As one judge wrote, "This is a gorgeous story, beautifully imagined and deftly, elegantly told." Our 2nd place winner is Alexander Dzwonchyk. His story is The Starling, a locked room mystery on a spaceship. One judge wrote, "Starling is professional, polished, and original. I love the twists and the characters' motivations and the world building." And our 1st place winner is Mary Harrigan. Her story is The Dragon Who Refused to Fly, a tale about knowing and being who you really are, up in a charming story of a dragon who, you guessed it, refused to fly or do other typical dragony things. One judge wrote, "This is a beautiful tale. A lot of young readers, especially, would appreciate its important message. The writing is strong and polished and confident with good descriptions, clever dialogue, and a lovable main character." So again, to our 3 winners this year, Miguel Mitchell, Alexander Dzwonchyk, and Mary Harrigan, congratulations. And we look forward to seeing even more of your writing here and in publication in coming years. Thank you very much.
And of course, people can't be winners without getting the chance to speak. So starting with the 3rd place winner, please give us a little speech.
All right. Well, thank you for this award. I also have to thank my wife, Laura, for supporting my crazy forays into science fiction and fantasy writing. Additionally, I'm grateful to my friend Andrea Levine for reading and honestly critiquing my work and for her constant encouragement. The judges' comments were very helpful, and from incorporating their suggestions, I think I finalized a publishable story. I've always toyed with the idea that I could write stories good enough for a magazine, but this award has inflamed my desire not only to write more, but to write the very best that I can and to keep trying to publish no matter how many times I get rejected. In writing fiction, the journey is long and hard, but the struggles can forge our words into a razor's edge, making a story that can cut the reader's soul deeply. Thank you again.
Now, thank you very much, Miguel. That was a wonderful tribute. Alex, Starling.
Yeah, I just want to thank the Baltimore Sci-Fi Society for holding this contest, and I want to thank my wife, Allie, for making me aware of it, encouraging me to enter it, and then giving me really valuable feedback on my story as I was working on it. And then secondly, I want to thank the judges for reading the story. You know, as someone that has been a lover of sci-fi for my entire life and thought about writing to finally doing it and then having people read my work and give me valuable feedback. It's much appreciated and very gratifying. So thanks for that. And lastly, I want to thank Alistair Reynolds for including a lot of commentary in his short story collections. I don't know, some of you may be familiar with his work, but one of the things he talks about is not trying to be too original, but just going for it, and you wind up being original along the way. So I hope I achieved that in my own small way here. And I really appreciate the encouragement and sense of community that this whole experience brought me. So thanks.
Alex, wonderful words. And Alistair Reynolds was a past Capclave guest of honor, so just had to throw that in. And of course, last but first, Mary with her story from Dragons, which of course now I want to read.
Thank you. It was really a bright spot of 2020 to find out that my story won first place. So I want to thank the Baltimore Science Fiction Society for giving amateur writers this place to shine, and also to Washington Science Fiction Society for hosting Capclave, which I did not know about until this year, and I now plan to attend as many times as I can. A huge congratulations to my fellow finalists. It's hard to press that submit button. It's hard to create, especially in this year, yet we did it. And to those who submitted as well, congratulations. Just keep going. Submitting is more than half the battle. I only discovered BSFS early this year when looking for local writing communities focused on speculative fiction. So I'm honored and very excited to get more involved with both BSFS and Washington Science Fiction Society as I continue to write and grow. As for my story, I wrote The Dragon Who Refused to Fly as a reminder for all of us that even in these hard times, we are powerful beyond measure and we can become whatever we will. Last but not least, I want to thank my family and friends who are out there watching. You've dealt with me having crazy story ideas for years, and it's so exciting to finally be able to share some great news with you.
Mary, thank you very much. That was very heartfelt. And Capclave and WSFA look forward to seeing you in the years to come. And of course, Alex, Miguel, please join us. We love growing the family. So at this point, we are going to move on, and we're moving on to our main event. Typically, we've brought in a past winner, or the head of our committee would take this time to speak. Unfortunately, tonight you guys get me. But thank you all for being here for the WSFA Small Press Award ceremony. And of course, as you know, I mean, it's nice to see people in Discord. It's nice to see people in Zoom. But I really, really wish we were all together in person so we could tell our stories and hang out and just be. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But that doesn't mean the things stop. We've had some great opportunities this year to bring back some people who haven't been there. And this year we have, of our past award winners for the Worcester Small Press Award, we have Alex Schwartzman, Ken Liu, Carrie Vaughn, and Tom Doyle. We'd hoped to have Peter Beagle, who was the winner of the inaugural award in 2007. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the technology work. 14 years ago, well, 15 years ago, when you start thinking about it, when the club was first discussing this, we weren't sure where it was going to go. We weren't sure if there was a place for this award. But we as a club thought it was important to recognize what at the time was an underappreciated market, which was the small press award, or the small presses within speculative fiction, which are now mainstream and doing some amazing work. So we decided, and we continue to showcase the best original fiction, short fiction published in a small press in the previous year. One of the things about the Small Press Award that's a little different is how we judge it. The award, the authors may send in a nomination for a story. Editors are allowed to send in 3. WSFA club members can also submit a nomination. These nominations are submitted to Carolyn Frank, who's our administrator, who does so much work to get them ready, to make sure that everything's ready to come to the club. Why does it work? Because we judge the stories blind. That means Carolyn will make sure that no author names and no identifying information for the publication comes to the club readers. So when people in the initial group of the committee, which are the committee for this year, Courtney Burleson, Roger Burns, Kathy Green, Kimberly Harrigan, and Sam LaBelle, when they got the over 130 stories that came through, they went through and they read each of those stories, and then through a long and deliberative process, brought it down to the 8 stories which were finalists. The limitation is, of course, the club expects them to send back a list of 5 to 10 stories. Now, we have many of the editors, we have the audience out there who have seen it. They know these things, and we appreciate all the work that has been done in order to get us here. And here it is. 152 stories were submitted this year, which is I think it's a record at this point. So 8 finalists is definitely an accomplishment. And hey everybody, welcome. We appreciate everybody who's doing it. And this, as a member of the club, I have a chance also, and I go through and I read each of the stories, not knowing the author, not knowing the publisher. I read it and I judge it based on what I thought of the story. And we believe that's greatly appreciated, that we are judging on merit. And, a personal thing, we try to avoid as much as we can knowing who it is. And of course, I will personally judge a little harder if I happen to somehow know it. But in this case, I actually did not know any of the stories coming in, and I finished every one of them. So the quality was there. There was something about each story that struck me. And of course, unfortunately, there can be only one winner, but we'll get there. So this year, the finalists for the WSFA Small Press Awards are The Blighted Godling of Company Town H by Beth Cato, Beneath Ceaseless Skies, issue 268, edited by Scott H. Andrews. Fairest of All by Ada Hoffman, The Future Fire, edited by Jabril El Ayad, August 2019. Give the Family My Love by A.T. Greenblatt, Clark's World Magazine, issue 149, edited by Neil Clark. Painter of Trees by Suzanne Palmer. Clark's World Magazine, issue 153, edited by Neil Clark. The Partisan and the Witch by Charlotte Honigman. Skull and Pestle, New Tales of Baba Yaga, edited by Kate Wolford, World Weaver Press, January 2019. Somewhere Else, Nowhere Else, by Juliet Kemp. Portals, edited by Patricia Bray and S.C. Butler. Zombies Need Brains, June 2019. The Sound of Distant Stars by Judy Fleming. Footprints in the Stars, edited by Danielle Ackley McPhail. eSpec Books, July 2019. The Weight of Mountains by L. Denny Coulter. Dreamforge, issue 2, June 2019, edited by Scott Knoll. And this is the point where, like any great MC, I'm going to take a few moments to talk about what's coming up, the winner. No, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to make you suffer too long. But I did want to make sure everybody got back up on screen before we went ahead and announced it. The winner of the 2020 WSFA Small Press Award is The Partisan and the Witch by Charlotte Honigman. Skull and Pestle, New Tales of Baba Yaga, edited by Kate Wolford, World Weaver Press, January 2019. Congratulations, Charlotte. We truly appreciated what a wonderful story that was. And in just a moment, we will turn it over here to you to go ahead. And hey, I'm going to step back and come off the screen. Charlotte, please share your kind words.
Okay, thank you. This is an enormous honor. Can everyone hear me all right?
We hear you.
Okay, good. I'm having some AC problems. I guess first, although they're not here, I'd like to thank my mother, who's held my hand through this whole process, and my husband, who's taking care of the kids today so I can be at Capclave, and the kids themselves. The Partisan and the Witch began as something that I wrote on long train rides to and from work, a few paragraphs at a time. I grew up in San Francisco, surrounded by old Russian women and men who lived through World War II. The family joke was that we knew at least 5 guys who'd personally single-handedly won the Battle of Stalingrad, and they all lived in our building. So this is a story that's very close to my heart. It incorporates tales that I heard growing up, both the fantastical and the all too real, and seeing it find readers and go out into the world has just made me so happy. I would like to thank Kate Wolford and Serena Ulabari at World Weaver Press, first for sending out a call for submissions for an anthology of stories about Baba Yaga, which motivated me to figure out how the story ended and write myself all the way to the end, and for being such awesome, amazing editors. And I'd like to thank everybody at WSFA and Capclave. Everyone has been amazingly welcome, and this has been a terrific day for me. I loved being on the panels. This story was my first fantasy sale, and having it so well received has just been amazing. I wish my father could have been here. My dad, Greg Smith, died at the end of February of this year. He loved Eastern Europe and he loved 20th century history, and he was always my biggest booster in everything that I did. And I know this would have thrilled him so much, and he would have called all of his friends and never stopped talking about it. So I wish that I could tell him, but I'm glad to accept this and think of him. And to the members of the Washington Science Fiction Association, thank you so much. This is an extraordinary honor and something that I really will always cherish. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Wonderful speech, and your tying into how the story and what it meant to you really said a lot. So thank you very much for sharing that little bit, and of course our condolences on the passing. Normally at this point, we'd be going out to have the last bit of cake, have a couple of drinks, and you can do that if you have cake and drinks at home. We are planning to do a little meet and greet session for people afterwards. So do look for the link for our members. Please spend some time. Of course, the Con Suite is open. The Zoom Comp Suite is open as well. Plenty of time to hang out there. And program will kick back off in just about another hour at 7:30 p.m. with another full slate of amazing program. So please make sure you take the time to enjoy it. Once again, thank you all for coming to Capclave and spending your weekend with us. So everyone have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the convention.